Ever wonder how much money the Griffins really have? Peter makes $50,000 a year at a brewery and somehow owns this.
I bought a tank!
Are you out of your mind?
Let me show you how the gun works.
Today, we're revealing who's secretly bankrolling Peter's financial chaos. If you're ready to follow the money, hit subscribe and let's get into it. First, we need to look at how much money actually enters the Griffin household every year. And to figure that out, we need to examine who's bringing home a paycheck. That's mainly Peter Griffin.
Well, watch this.
Peter works at the Pawtucket Brewery in the shipping department. Based on real-world data for shipping clerks in Rhode Island, that position typically pays between $45,000 and $50,000 annually. Let's give Peter the benefit of the doubt and say he pulls in $50,000. But Peter's not the only one contributing. Lois occasionally brings in side income through various ventures.
Brian, your standards are ridiculously high.
She's taught piano lessons, sold artwork, and taken on other small jobs. But realistically, these side gigs probably add maybe $5,000 per year to the household budget. She's not running a major business here. Added together, and the Griffin family's total annual income sits at about $55,000. 55 grand. For a family of 5, in today's economy, that's barely middle class. Actually, that's below the median household income for Rhode Island. But keep that number in mind, because I'm about to show you what they spend.
It's not a liquid!
Because, over multiple seasons, we've watched the Griffin family make purchases that would make lottery winners nervous. I'm not talking about splurging on a nice vacation or getting a newer car. I'm talking about the kind of expenses that require private banking. Let's go through them one by one. Purchase number 1. Personal aircraft. Peter acquires a personal helicopter that he uses to travel around Quahog. A working helicopter, by the way, not a toy. The average cost for a small personal helicopter starts around $2 million. That's not including fuel, maintenance, insurance, or storage fees, which can run over $100,000 per year. With his $50,000 salary, Peter would need to work for 40 years without spending a single dollar on food, housing, or anything else just to save up for this purchase. Purchase number 2. Auction incident.
Goes to $100 million.
Mr. Peter Griffin for an astonishing...
In one memorable episode, Peter attends a high society auction after Lois inherits property. He gets caught up in the moment and bids an absolutely ridiculous amount on an antique item. We're talking 8 figures. That's tens of millions of dollars bid on one decorative object. Even if he didn't complete the purchase, the fact that he was allowed to bid that high means someone verified he had access to that kind of money. You can't just walk into Christie's and start throwing around million-dollar bids without financial proof. Purchase number 3. Military hardware.
Let me show you how the gun works.
Peter somehow acquires functional military equipment, including an actual tank. Not a replica, not a decommissioned shell, but working military hardware. Depending on the model and condition, military vehicles can cost anywhere from $1 to $5 million. And that's if you can even legally purchase one. Purchase number 4. Home modifications.
It's not a liquid!
There's an episode where Peter decides to make major modifications to their property, including excavation work that would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Professional excavation, waterproofing, and construction for something like this runs minimum $500,000. Purchase number 5. Other major expenses. And that's not counting the blimp, the yacht, the countless times Peter's destroyed valuable property, the second mortgage he took out for lottery tickets, or the numerous other expensive purchases we see throughout the series. Conservative estimate? Over $20 million in documented major purchases. Peter makes $55,000 per year and has spent over $20 million. The math just doesn't add up. It's not even in the same universe. So, where's the money coming from? Maybe they've got valuable assets, maybe they own property or investments that explain their purchasing power. Let's check. Their house on Spooner Street. It's a decent size, typical American suburban home. Based on real estate values in Rhode Island, a house like that might be worth $350,000. That's significant equity, right? Except there's a problem.
Mr. Pewterschmidt, it's Peter. Please pay my mortgage.
Damn it, Griffin!
I'm crying, Mr. Pewterschmidt. I'm crying.
Multiple episodes suggest they don't actually own the house outright. At various points, it's mentioned they're renting or that mortgage payments are an issue. So that $350,000 in home value isn't really an asset they can leverage. If they're paying typical rent for that area, we're talking $35,000 to $40,000 per year, just in housing costs. That's almost Peter's entire salary gone before they buy groceries. But what about their vehicles? They drive older model cars that might be worth $10,000 to $15,000 combined. Not exactly liquid wealth. So their assets are basically nothing. Their income is $55,000, their rent alone is $40,000, and somehow they've spent over $20 million. This doesn't make any sense. Unless someone else is paying. Let's try to figure out where this money could be coming from. Theory 1. Maybe Peter's various jobs paid really well?
All right, Mr. Griffin. Jobs you think you would be suited for. Let's see what you wrote. Cowboy, astronaut, warlock.
Over the years, Peter's worked dozens of different jobs. Fisherman, toy inspector, Renaissance fair performer, restaurant owner, and countless others. But here's the thing. He rarely keeps these jobs. He gets fired, quits, or the business fails. None of them are generating the kind of wealth needed for $20 million in purchases. So that's not it. Theory 2. Lottery winnings?
1,000 lottery tickets, we gotta check.
Peter does play the lottery. A lot. He's even taken out loans to buy more tickets, but we've seen him lose more often than win. And when he does win, it's never enough to explain helicopter money. So scratch that theory. Theory 3. Maybe Lois comes from money? Actually, yes. Lois's father is extremely wealthy. He owns a major corporation and lives in a massive mansion. But that still doesn't explain how Peter has direct access to millions for impulse purchases. Unless there's someone actively funding their lifestyle. The answer is Carter Pewterschmidt. Lois's father, and he's not just wealthy, he's ultra wealthy. Billionaire level rich. Carter owns Pewterschmidt Industries, a major corporation with international holdings. His net worth is estimated in the billions, and throughout the series, there's a pattern we need to talk about. Multiple episodes reference Carter bailing out the family financially, covering debts, paying for expenses, handling problems that Peter creates. At one point, it's mentioned that Carter helps with her mortgage. Other times, he's settled major financial disasters. What's really happening is this. Peter doesn't face financial consequences because Carter absorbs them. Every helicopter, every tank, every ridiculous auction bid, Carter's wealth makes it possible. Think about it from Carter's perspective. He's worth billions. To him, $20 million is pocket change. It's less than 1% of his total wealth. It's like someone with $100,000 in the bank spending $700. Noticeable, but not life-changing. Carter could fund Peter's chaos for decades without making a dent in his fortune, and apparently, that's exactly what he's doing. The Griffins aren't a struggling middle-class family. They're trust fund recipients with a billionaire safety net. So when you ask how much money the Griffin family has, the real answer is as much as Carter is willing to provide. But here's why this matters. It completely reframes what Family Guy is actually about. The show presents itself as a working-class family sitcom. Blue-collar dad, stay-at-home mom, typical suburban life with cartoon chaos. That's the surface level. But underneath, Family Guy is actually showing us what happens when unlimited wealth meets zero accountability. Peter Griffin can make catastrophically bad financial decisions because he's insulated from consequences. He's not stupid with money. He's financially immune. There's always a billionaire father-in-law ready to write another check.
Well, watch this. Oh, God.
This explains so much about his behavior. Why he doesn't worry about getting fired, why he makes impulsive million-dollar decisions, why financial disasters resolve themselves by the next episode. It's not cartoon reset logic, it's trust fund logic. Lois married Peter knowing her father would always provide a safety net. Carter enables the chaos because, to a billionaire, a few million here and there is meaningless. And Peter lives consequence-free because money fixes everything. The Griffins aren't playing at being middle class. They're trust fund babies cosplaying as regular people. That's the secret. That's how a shipping clerk affords helicopters. That's how they survive financial catastrophe after financial catastrophe. Carter Pewterschmidt is the invisible ATM that makes the entire show possible. Let's put actual numbers on this. Griffin Family Finances. Peter's job, 50 grand a year. Lois's side work, 5 grand a year. Total, 55 grand a year. Annual expenses, rent, 40 grand. Food and utilities, around 15 grand. Transportation, around 5 grand. Everything else, around 10 grand. Total, 70 grand a year. Already spending more than they make. Major documented purchases, aircraft, 2 million. Auction bid, 10 plus million. Military vehicle, 3 million. Home modifications, 500,000. Other major expenses, 5 million. Total, 20,500,000 plus. Home equity, 0 because they're renting. Vehicles, 12,000. Total, 12,000. We get net worth through income minus expenses minus major purchases plus assets equals negative $20.5 million. The Griffins are $20 million in the red. Peter's credit score would be measured in negative numbers. Except they're not in the red, because Carter's absorbed all of it. Carter Pewterschmidt, estimated net worth 3 to 5 billion, amount spent on Peter 20 plus billion, percentage of wealth 0.4 to 0.7%. To Carter, funding Peter's lifestyle is mathematically insignificant. He could do this forever and never notice. And that's the answer to how much money the Griffins have. They have Carter. So the Griffin family has enough money to survive and enough chaos to entertain us. But none of it would be possible without one thing: a billionaire's checkbook. Peter isn't a working-class hero struggling against the system. He's a billionaire's son-in-law playing with house money. And in Coag, as long as Carter keeps writing checks, financial reality is completely optional. The Griffins don't have money. They have something better: financial immunity. If you enjoyed this financial breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more Family Guy deep dives. Let me know in the comments, if you had a billionaire parent-in-law, would you be more responsible than Peter? Or would you buy a tank too? See ya in the next video.